Hail to the king, baby.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the development of Series 3, once again with commentators, Guitargameguy and Scourge 300. Say hi, sir.
Hello, sir.
Alright, I didn't mean the third part, but anyway. So, almost immediately as we actually began Series 2, I knew right away that we would probably need to make a Series 3, simply because I'm not really a big fan of having one movie and then just a sequel. It's like kind of odd. I figure if it's a trilogy that it makes the most sense. I don't know, I just really like trilogies personally. So I figure if I just made Series 1, Series 2, that'd be pretty bland. So when Series 3, I basically had, all these editing skills. I had, Colin actually sent me a link. No, he didn't send me a link. Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. He just told me a way to get Sony Vegas, which I had no idea how to do. But another friend of mine actually sent me a link for Sony Vegas 9 Pro, so I just got that. Started editing with it, learning how it works. And during this time period, I was doing other videos, figuring out how it worked. So I needed to put all those skills at hand when Series 3 would come out. But basically, as soon as even before we began Series 2, me and Colin knew we would have to that we were planning on making a Series 3. So I actually already had the name of it too, Armageddon. Basically, I had my capture card and I had a better mic. I had basically everything better. So a few months after Series 2 ended, we filmed the trailer, which actually went really well because we had, all those people that we actually knew for a while helped us out with it. And we actually got the trailer filming pretty quickly, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't too difficult to do.
Yeah, despite, a lot of the filming locations to do, but other than that, the filming of the trailer went really, really well. So Series 3, oh man, I cannot tell you guys how personally excited I was just to film it. I know a lot of you guys were excited for it. I know Colin was really excited for it, because I think he was.
Because we both agreed that this was going to be the series where all of the characters come into play the most, and they all, how should I put this, best themselves?
Yeah, that's what I quoted. I basically, I said this on my Facebook page. I basically said, I want Series 3 to be a lot more darker, more serious, have a crap ton more story to it, and I want all of the characters to really best themselves and develop the most, and that way people can get attached to the characters the most. Series 2 was it was a mixed bag. It was about half scripted, half not. Half of it was just fighting. Series 3 was entirely scripted, entirely. And that actually made it fairly simple to do, and that also made it seem not too easy to screw up, because you knew what you were doing, basically, so you didn't really have to worry too much. And during this time period, I was gaining subscribers and everything, and I had a lot more people that I was getting to know that could help me out with this as well. So Series 3 came around, and it was basically the filming of itself was actually it went pretty well. The only thing I know we had trouble with was trying to get people switched over from the regular GTA 4 to Battle of Gay Tony. I don't know why, but to get all of us into that game, that took us like almost 45 minutes just to get everybody into that game lobby. I don't know why. Don't think you remember that, Colin, but
I do. In fact, it ended up with me playing and voicing Trent because we were having trouble getting enough people into the game.
oh yeah. I know a lot of you guys probably like, why don't you just invite random people. Well, you can't just invite anyone. I mean, imagine, like, for example, Christopher Nolan. What if, a lot of the fans before a movie premiere are like, put me in your next movie, put me in your next movie. He's just like, alright, all of you can be main characters, I'll put you in my movie. You know, will that really work out that well? Probably not. So, in order to make a good series, you need people with experience. Not just experience, but you have to make them, like, you know, make them seem like they're the character they're playing. So, you know, you have to really plan that ahead, and I had to write the script for every single episode. So, the filming of episode 1 itself was about 90% pretty easy, and episode 1 was actually really a pain in the ass for me to finally get finished, simply because, you know, this was kind of a new thing for me. I guess that there was so much editing for the first episode that Sony Vegas was kind of overwhelmed by it, I guess. So, it's why I'm liking that they're creating future versions of Sony Vegas where they won't do that. They're working on a Sony Vegas 11, where that doesn't happen anymore, which is good, but for 9 Pro, you know, it still does that. And I know the previous versions do that as well. If you have too much editing in a video, it's too long, it's way too overwhelming for it. So I split the episode into parts, and then I put them together and render that out. And I did that from the rest of the series, so that Sony Vegas could easily just render like a 10-minute clip or something. So, and you know, Sony Vegas is badass, so it lets you put as many tracks in as you want. So I was able to just render the whole thing out in just one take, which is really awesome. So, episode 1 I thought was done pretty well. The quality is so-so because, like I said, I was still trying to figure out how everything worked. Episode 2, you probably might notice I fixed it a little bit, not much. You guys might notice that these episodes are a little bit dark, but that's simply because, you know, I'm still trying to get used to this thing, figure out how it works. But I didn't figure out till episode 4 that I just had to turn up the brightness in the game, because I didn't realize that it can be so dark. So, episode 4 I finally turned up the brightness in the game, and it looked really, really good. But a lot of people probably don't know this, but the beginning of the first episode, you know, it has Josh and Carter talking, and that takes place in a future scene in episode 9. It's kind of like the setup for their concluding fight. So, the only negative thing I got about episode 1 was how long the intro was, but only new viewers didn't like that. All the people that have been following it for a while liked it, because they liked how I was showing flashbacks in the last series in it. So, there is a crap ton to talk about in every single episode, so I'm just going to talk about them in generally.
I think it's worth mentioning that one of the problems that we realised, well, you realised when we started filming a lot of Series 3 episodes, there are many, many cutscenes, and for most of the cutscenes, as you know, Josh voices character Kurt, and you readily realised that long amounts of talking to Kurt pretty much killed your throat, so we had to have long pauses between scenes for you to relax your throat.
Oh yeah, there was the museum part where Kurt explaining his entire story. That scene was a pain in the ass for me. Simply because, you know, it was about pages and pages and pages of the script of Kurt just talking. So, between every like couple minutes or so of me just talking like Kurt for so long, your voice hurts, and you're like, okay, I need a break now. Fuck. So, yeah, it's not possible to talk like him for very long extensions of time. Even experienced voice actors will probably agree with me that it's a pretty big pain in the ass. Anything other to add to the first episode, Colin?
I think, like you said, because we're skimming through a lot of the episodes, it's worth also saying that, for the most part, in Series 3, people will notice Josh plays Josh, obviously, among others. I always play Carter, but I'd say Manny and Justin are a mixed bag, because we had a lot of different people played the both of them through Series 3, just because of, me and Josh, this isn't a way of us making ourselves sound awesome, but I actually said to you at one point that I'm going to be dedicating myself to playing Carter, and I don't think I ever missed any filming for Carter. I was always there to make sure that I voice and play, not allow anyone else to play him.
Yeah.
So, but for Manny and Justin, it was really a matter of skimming a little bit, trying to find someone to voice them. And so much so that later on, towards the end of the series, Series 3, we actually had the same person voicing Manny and Justin, just putting on a different toned voice for the two of them.
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of criticizing from people about stop switching the characters, even though it's really not that big of a deal. It's just their voices sound a little bit different, but you can still tell who they are. Later on, Mo played as Justin, and I thought personally that he fit Justin perfectly. Just the way Mo's voice was, the way how much he loved playing Justin. He loved playing him so much that Mo even almost completely dedicated himself to playing as Justin. There's really only a couple of times where he was unable to get on, but for the most part, when he played as Justin, I really liked it, of him being Justin. Manny, on the other hand, was actually played by several people who I can't really think of, but definitely a lot of different people were playing as a Manny. Even sometimes Mo would even voice both Manny and Justin. He would just change his voice a bit, and it worked pretty well. So that's something to keep in mind. Even Carter, at some points, would voice as Justin. And that's the thing, though, because we don't really need to, like, do any kind of super ultimate editing with that, because it's just, a voice over a game. You can't really tell. So it actually worked pretty well for the most part. But definitely out of all the series, Series 3 is the one I'm the most proud of, simply because everything is a lot more epic. Everything is a lot more, like, at stake. Basically, I took everything from Series 2 and I upscaled it like 10 times. Basically, how strong the zombies are, the story, the characters, even just the length of the episodes, too. Because I got to upload as long as I wanted to, so I made them close to 30 minutes each, which a lot of people liked. Because I figured, if you're going to be waiting about a month or so for these episodes to come out, you might as well get something worth seeing that's pretty lengthy, because if it's just like, 10 minutes, and you waited a month for a 10-minute video, is that really fair? If you ask me. So
it feels more like an actual TV show, a half an hour long episode of some sort.
Well, TV shows are actually 22 to 23 minutes long, the show itself, with commercials filling up the rest of it, but, since you don't get commercials in my episodes, I basically do make it seem like it's an actual 30-minute span of it.
I think what I also liked about Series 3 was that for the first time, really, in Zombie Attack series, a lot of the characters made them seem very human, in the sense that they weren't just kicking ass all the time. There was a lot of times where they were different on how to deal with things. There was a lot of arguments between characters, like between Josh and Carter. There was, I think they were also getting more wounded as well, like Justin was wounded badly. It made the characters feel more believable, like, rather than just some action movie hero who can mysteriously dodge bullets.
Yeah. Like, they can get hurt, they're human, it does happen. Even Josh gets hurt himself. I think everybody actually gets hurt in Series 3, which a lot of people weren't expecting. But what I really like, though, like, for example, Episode 2 is where, we introduce Arson's character, and I didn't want to just make it seem like an endless amount of action where we're just killing all of these zombies, but I basically came up with the idea of us sneaking away from the zombies, which, as simple as it sounds, has never been done before in any of the other series. So, we did that, and a lot of people really liked it. And you know, we had an epic fight with the berserker because we couldn't kill it. It was too strong, and I really wanted to show how strong the berserkers were, considering, you know, this thing, like Carter said in episode 2, this thing is just taking the piss. Like, we were throwing grenades at it, and it was just taking it. It was literally just like, come on, just throw it at me. It's not going to do shit. So, I really wanted to express how strong these zombies were this time around. And that way, whenever they would, like, chase one of the survivors, people would, like, you know, piss themselves. Like, holy shit, they're going to get hurt or something. And a lot of times, just the berserkers hurt themselves. So, I mean, not themselves. A lot of the berserkers hurt the survivors. A lot of times. So, that's why at the end of episode 2, when Kurt actually kills the berserker, people are like, holy shit! You know, because Josh and Carter, after all of that, couldn't kill the berserker, but Kurt does it by just punching him in one blow. So, that really shows you just how strong Kurt is, and I wanted to express that. And a lot of people didn't see that coming. They really liked it too, to show just how powerful the main enemy is in Series 3. So, and Colin really likes Kurt's character. Can you explain why you like Kurt so much? He's evil.
It's not so much that I just like his character. I think it's his tone. Because what I like about Kurt is that not only is he completely and utterly scientific and clearly has a mind that he's planned things out for multiple years, but it's just that he can go from being completely scientific to I'm just gonna fuck your shit up. In fact, he says a little bitch. He goes from completely scientific to a typical gang member with talking slang. And that's what I really like about Kurt, and it shows a lot of his character when he, Series 3 episode, I think it was 4, yeah, Series 3 episode 4, which shows Kurt's backstory. It really shows, like, how smart Kurt is, that his father spent,
over 20 years trying to make potassium, and Kurt does it overnight.
That just shows you how smart Kurt is. Somehow he is that brainy.
Yeah, basically. Episode 4 is definitely one of my most favorite episodes from Series 3, just because, you know, it shows Kurt's backstory. It really, really explains everything of what happened to Kurt, because it was briefly explained in episode 1, but we never really got to see it. So I figured, I was talking with Colin, I was like, you know, there needs to be a way for us to be able to show what happened to Kurt, because we're only going to get one chance to do it. So we finally show actually what happened to Kurt, and it was done really, really well. That's why I really like episode 4, and definitely one of my most favorite parts from episode 4 is actually towards the end, where I'm like, if they escape in that helicopter, it will be the end of all of us. Which, if you guys don't know, is a reference to Dragon Ball Z, where Trunks is, they find Dr. Gero's lab, and the androids wake up, and then the androids kill Dr. Gero, and then they're about to wake up Android 16, and Trunks is like, if they set that android free, it will be the end of all of us, and he blows up the lab. And I always wanted to do something like that, because I just thought it was really badass. And where I shoot down the helicopter in slow motion, I just really, really liked it. So, surprisingly, one of the most criticized things I got about Series 3 was, why did I use Dragon Ball Z music? Well, not only am I a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but as I was just listening to these songs, I was like, holy shit, this could fit this series really, really well. And it did. Like, I just started, you know, importing them as I was editing, because what's cool about editing is that you can kind of, like, play around with what songs you want to use. So, I just started, like, putting DBZ songs into it, and they worked really, really well. Like, you know, when I shoot down the helicopter in slow motion and it plays the da 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 da, you know, it works.
I think it's, I was going to note before when you mentioned Arson, who was a new character revealed in Series 3, Kurt's apprentice, if you want to call him that. A lot of my friends who watch the series, and a lot of people on YouTube who watch the series who I talk to, all shared this theory at the time when Series 3 was coming out, and I myself kind of wanted it to be real, but we never went down that road with it. A lot of people have noticed a little chain of events. In Series 1, we found Justin. In Series 2, we found Carter, and all of these characters slowly started building up a team of survivors. Myself and a number of my friends actually believed that Arson was going to turn on Kurt and become a survivor sometime down the line in Series 3, but we didn't go with that thing. In the end, we actually killed him off very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Well, that ended up happening because, Colin, basically, if you guys don't know, Arson did kill Bruno, who was, like, Carter's really good friend. So I figured, I thought about it, to be honest, but I was like, the main reason why Arson didn't become a survivor is because he already had, too much crap within him. I figured that if he did turn on Kurt, he would turn on Kurt, but he still would hate the survivors. Simply because, like Kurt explained in episode 2, he says that this power he has, he really likes. He likes how he's so strong now, and the fact that the survivors are like, what you're doing is wrong and everything, and he's just ignoring it because he's so blinded by his power that he really doesn't care. So I really wanted, Carter to kind of like, avenge the death of Bruno. So that's why I let Carter get the one to take out Arson. So that's kind of why Arson never really became a good guy. Because looking back at it, he could be a good guy to start, kind of like Kurt was, but after Procasium, it messes with your head, so.
I kind of feel that Arson could have become a survivor, but if it had been done, I feel that Arson's character is I almost feel bad for him in the sense that he never really had a family. He's led quite easily, and if he had become a survivor, it probably would have been something like he finally, like Josh mentioned, to him in that bar scene with him and Carter. I can't remember what episode it was from. He said that Kurt will get rid of you once he's done with you, and I thought people were thinking that perhaps that was how he was going to switch sides. He was going to realise that what the hell has he done? What betrayed them, and he would switch sides. And people were saying that if he was a survivor, him and Carter would completely hate each other and wouldn't even agree working together, speak to each other or work together. But later on towards the end of the series, they would have become friends. Some would have forgiven it. But the whole story, then that whole idea was blown out of the water when Arson died anyway, so.
Yeah, a lot of people liked the way he went out anyway. I mean, I basically wanted Arson to have a bit of a backstory, but in a lot of ways, he's like Anakin Skywalker that never, became a good guy towards the end of his life, in a lot of ways. Simply because, he wasn't bad, but then you have, this evil guy come up to him and convince him that there's a way out, there's a way to be free of it. So, Arson just felt so free of that. He had a backstory and everything, but, he was just so blinded by what happened with him, and then, basically, because Kurt helped him out, Kurt was like one of the very few people that actually understood him more than anybody else, and Arson felt that Kurt was really the only person that actually gave him anything he really wanted, which was great power, if you will. So, I figured if Arson did turn on Kurt, Kurt would just kill Arson anyway. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, because I figured that would be way too predictable if that happened. So, I hate predictable shit.
Plus, when you think about it in retrospect, 4 survivors is perfect. So you have a 4-door car. How would it work if there was 5? It'd be like 4 people in one car, and the fifth one would be on a motorcycle.
We have to, like, split them up often. I don't know. It would be kind of weird. And I guess if Arson did turn on Kurt, it would be like for one episode, Arson would die, and that'd be it.
We actually planned, didn't we? We planned a what if that what if Carter had missed his one shot to take out Kurt.
You mean to take out Arson?
Yeah.
Oh, Colin loves what ifs. He really does.
The only reason is because I watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z what ifs.
Oh, that's true. A lot of people have told me that my series is like the Resident Evil storyline. Now keep in mind, guys, that I've maybe played the first couple of Resident Evil games. I don't think I ever played number 3. I don't think so, but I played part of 4. I played 5, which I didn't really like. I played 6, which I think is alright, but everyone was telling me this is just like the Resident Evil storyline, and then Colin was telling me this. He's like, if you think about it, Kurt is like Albert Wesker. So there's even a survivor. There's even a survivor named Jake, which is Josh's real name that we later figure out.
Jake is that in Resident Evil 6? What the survivor Jake is Wesker's son.
Oh yeah, that's not right, but not my series. But Jake actually in Resident Evil looks like Jake from Zombie Attack series, doesn't he?
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Only Josh is not Kurt's son. They're just friends. They're not. They're about the same age. That'd be extremely weird. Kurt would have to have Josh when he was like 4 months old or something. I don't know.
I think a lot of people will agree. Kurt and Wesker are very alike, but Kurt can just bounce off Kurt pretty much. He doesn't even have to avoid them. Wesker gets hit by bullets and explosions, and they do damage him, but he regenerates and he dodges the bullets mostly. So that's where they are different. They're very similar. They want to change the world. They're very cocky. They're very badass. But Wesker, he dodges attacks. Kurt just takes them full frontal.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
So who do you think would win in a fight then?
I'm not even going to go down that road, okay?
Who do you think would win? They're not gonna care. Wait,
Shut
maybe.
up, we get so many hate comments. If we said, oh yeah, you know, blah blah would win, they'd be like, no, I think blah blah would win. You know?
And then we had this debate going on for like 10 years. Like endless amounts of it. Why don't you guys just tell me in the comments and yeah. So, Kurt versus Albert Wesker. Or Kurt Gold, because Kurt's last name is Gold. Not the type of, like, you know, gem. It's Gould. Kurt's the only guy in the whole series that has a last name, which, you know, I don't think is a big of a deal. I think Colin mentioned maybe at one point, should we just stay with their last names are? And I'm like, there's really no point to that, so we just never did.
I think, isn't Kurt's full name Curtis Gould?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curtis Gold versus Albert Wesker. Ha ha ha. Colin did a Kurt versus Frieza, which is badass. And they're actually pretty tied with each other.
You know, I may actually one day do a Kurt versus Albert Wesker in live action if I could be bothered.
Oh yeah. But that is true. Albert does kind of just like dodge all of the attacks, and Kurt is just kind of like, that kind of tickled.
Yeah. But they are both incredibly strong. For anyone who watches, who played, well, for anyone who played Resident Evil 5, when you actually fight, people will notice he acts very similar to Kurt in the sense that he just walks around in front of you for the most of the fight. He doesn't even bother attacking you. He just walks towards you slowly and...
Yeah, that's freaking creepy.
So it's very Kurt, you know, very, very Kurt. Which is...
Both of them do, well, I don't know if, I think Albert does get hurt when he gets shot with an RPG, when Kurt gets shot with an RPG, he just kind of like flies a bit away. The only reason that happens is because of the force of the RPG. Really, it doesn't really hurt him. So the blast itself just kind of like knocks him away. That doesn't really hurt him though. I mean, it's kind of like driving a car, where if you push on the brakes really hard, you might like lean forward a bit from the force, but that doesn't really hurt you. You know what I mean? You're just affected by the force. You don't really get hurt. So, anyway, Series 3 definitely had the most amount of story into it. And I don't think we should spoil it, should we?
In what sense? Oh,
in episode 9 and 10 and so forth.
We could. I'm sure it wouldn't be too bad.
Whatever. But we really wanted to, express the fact that this is like the most difficult fight they're going to have, and a lot of people knew that someone might actually die. I was really thinking about who it could be, so I figured that if we put Carter into that position, that a lot of people, it would actually almost, I wouldn't say make sense, because that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, since Carter, is like actually a really wise guy, during his death scene, he could like give some, advice that would help Josh out, which actually does, so it fit that really, really well. Definitely another thing I got criticized for was when Josh uses the temporary serum into himself, and he gets temporarily super strong, like berserker strong, for about 30 minutes. I got really criticized that, a lot of people were like, oh, I get you're a DBZ fan, but now you're making it way too much like it. Because Josh is like Goku now. But, think about it, guys. Put 2 and 2 together. Would there really be any other way to beat Kurt? Be honest with yourself. Is there, really?
Not really, unless you maybe, I don't know, froze him.
That's logical.
It wouldn't kill him, it would just keep him alive.
Then you got some asshole in the future that would unfreeze him and all hell would break loose again. Because that wouldn't work out too well.
No, they could freeze him and put him in like an unbreakable vault or something. Surrounded by explosions.
Knowing Kurt, he just break the vault with the flick of his finger. He's like, doink!
Oh gosh, crazy.
But
a lot of my friends actually have pointed something out which they didn't think made sense at first, but I'm going to amend this, so trust me on this. There is people have wondered how is it that Kurt, considering he was more of a scientist than anything else, even though he was in a gang, it still didn't quite fit. How is it that Kurt is able to fight so well? Not in terms of Procasium, in terms of his knowledge of combat. He's very combat knowledgeable. Now, this I plan on amending in future. Don't ask how, but it will be amended. Josh may know what I'm talking about, but there is actually...
I already do.
Behind. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I want to say, really.
now, I think we need to talk about this, because I'm sure everyone wants to know. What the hell is that clip after Series 3, Episode 10, after the credits? What the hell is going on? That was something I personally had in mind. I think Colin kind of knows what happens in that clip,
Yeah.
like what's it about. Do you?
I do, yeah.
Alright, well, I won't go in depth into it because that's major spoilers, so I'm not going to do that. But it definitely is something that I was planning to do. But I can say that later on it takes a pretty big role.
Yeah, we can also, I think it's also worth saying for people to put these things together. The scene at the end of Series 3, that after the credits scene where you see the mystery helicopter and such, that scene can also be put together with the after the credits scene in the end of Origins. It is related somehow. That's all I will say on that part.
Oh yeah, okay. No more going in depth than that. But the last thing that I'll say about it before we move on, when that mysterious zombie looks around and it's actually talking to someone, basically it's like, pretend where the camera is, and that's basically what the zombie is talking to, and they're talking to notice how they say sir and not master. So that's all I'm gonna say. I won't go in depth any more than that of who they're talking to, but they are like talking to where like the camera is, and that basically is where that person there is that they're talking to is. So that's all I'll go into for that. But later on, after Series 3 ended, everyone was like, good job guys, but still we were getting a crap ton of messages, not just me but Colin as well, to make a Series 4. Now, I do like the idea of it, but calling it Series 4 is too redundant, too repetitive, So, after that, GTA 5 got announced, and they released a picture about it on their website, and they had a trailer about it. So, me and Colin finally started talking about how it would be possible. So basically, don't know if you guys know this. I don't think I told anyone this. I don't even think you know, Colin. But the teaser that you see, the very first one where it like reveals the image of the image you created, Colin. Basically, I actually put that on a flash drive, and my friend went to E3, and he put that on this like huge display. But he wasn't telling people what it was. He said it's gonna be a GTA 5 machinima, and that's all I can say. So then he played it, and then he provided the link for it. People are like, well, that looks interesting, So, a couple days later, I uploaded it on YouTube, and people, are like jizzing all over the place when they see that. But at the same time, people are pretty pissed off because they know they have to wait for a while. But luckily, me and Colin have some pretty awesome ideas here that we've been having to help out with the wait. So, explain.
I will explain. In order to bridge the gap between GTA 4, the Zombie Attack series, and GTA 5, the Zombie Attack Legacies, in order to differentiate things, we have decided that we're going to be releasing an at this point, unknown number of teaser trailers. We call them trailers. They're not so much teaser trailers as they are clips, which are somehow related to
the story.
To a storyline of Legacies, which it will be later on. In fact, I'm currently working on the second teaser. The first teaser shows a mystery character working on an unknown something or other in his bunker, and you can hear a voice at the end of the teaser. That, by the way, that entire scene, that scene was all filmed in my home and by me, and it was very, very difficult to set what you see on the tape. There was a lot of papers. I had to do a lot of printouts. In fact, one of the printouts says National World News, which, for those of you who don't know, is a news company within the Zombie Attack series world. And also one of the other newspapers that I had on the paper said GGG News, which was a little bit of Easter egg there, which was quite fun. Yeah. And so I tried to go into that in depth as much as humanly possible. But like I said, I can't go into it fully without spoiling things, so I'll try my best not to. In short, I'm working on teaser 2, and it's going to be incredible.
We can say the fact that in that teaser, look for like certain pictures or wording or things like that we've seen before from like the past episodes. So look for things like that, and you'll see things where you can like, you know, find like, hey, there's a picture of Josh, hey, there's a picture of Manny, and etc. So just look for things like that, and it'll like come together. And Colin's working on another teaser that he says that has gone on really, really well, and I'm actually looking forward to that myself. Now the last thing we can say about the teasers, I think we'll be okay saying this. I don't think it'll be much of a spoiler, really. They're all gonna be live action.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Like filmed in real life.
I've talked to you about ideas for the future teasers, which you won't go into, but all of them relate to the Zombie Attack series and to Zombie Attack Legacies.
Alright, so you guys probably will know that when GTA 5 comes out, that I'll be doing not only a walkthrough on it, but making the series. Now, I'm sure a lot of people want to know, why am I making like all these teasers and stuff if there's like hasn't been any kind of like, you know, discussion if there's going to be actual zombies in it. Well, basically, like I said, my friend that took that video to E3, he basically found out that a Rockstar employee watched it, and then he actually asked one of the Rockstar employees if there would be, and the Rockstar employees said, we would be interested in doing something like that again. So then when he told me that, we're continuing to make trailers, so.
I think Rockstar in will probably are aware that they have to be aware. I mean, they're a gaming conglomerate and very frequently check with the Rockstar forums and GTA forums, things like they. I'm sure, and I personally believe that there will be something zombie related in GTA 5 because I think it's kind of a thing nowadays. Rockstar know people just fucking like zombies for some reason. So just the idea that they probably would put some in such a grand, large, free-roaming game as GTA 5, it doesn't seem that implausible to me. I think that it's very likely there will be zombies in it, or at least a zombie mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest assured, though, that when GTA 5 does come out, me and Colin are going to work on a trailer, like, with, you know, in-game footage ASAP. Like, as soon as the game comes out, we'll try to make a trailer come out as soon as we possibly can. Which, I already have a plan of what we're going to film for it, actually. See, this is what is awesome. You have to, like, plan ahead, and then you know what you're going to do, and then as soon as it comes out, you can just take care of it right away, so. It shouldn't take long after the actual game is released to make a trailer, so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether we might do more than one. Probably not, because I think we just should get right to the series right away, if you ask me.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. We'll see what happens.
Would you say that you're more excited for filming Legacies than you were Series 3, Armageddon?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, because I kind of knew Series 3 was coming to be filmed. I knew it was going to happen. I knew I was going to have people to help me out with it. Series 3, I mean, Legacies, the game's not even out yet. I don't even have the game in my possession. I need to get the game first, and the reason I'm more excited is because it's, you know, it's just a new game. It's a new GTA game.
Yeah.
You know, so I've played every GTA game when it came out. So that's why I'm really looking forward to it this time around.
Yeah. Rest assured, we have a lot of things planned for Legacies.
A shit ton. There's gonna be as much, if not a lot more, story elements in Legacies than there was in Series 3. So if you thought Series 3 was awesome, it's gonna be multiplied by like 50 in Legacies. So I'm not gonna say too much about it, really. I can't even. It sucks because I can't even say general things because I don't even have the game yet, so I can't even tell you guys much if I wanted to. Which really sucks, but rest assured though that we are making really badass stuff that is coming out. I'm not sure when Colin's gonna get that trailer done. Don't harass him about it. Give him time because I'm sure that's gonna be a pain in the ass to make.
Yeah, the footage I have is converted. I just need other effects and, and things like that. That's really all I need.
So I'm guessing like within the week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Alright, so stay tuned for that, guys. It'll be uploaded on my channel and his as well. Hope you all enjoyed the development of Series 3 and further on. And pretty much all I have left to say is we're working on Legacies. We promise it will be epic, and most of all, we hope you all enjoy it.
Yeah. So let's wrap this thing up, shall we?
Later, bitches!